Hi there, guys. Thanks for coming back again today. I'm just going to be talking. So, I've got two very, very possible theories for this Mandela effect that's been going on. Um, my initial one that I'm thinking it still is, although there has been one that I've found today that is very compelling to say the least and very, very plausible. I still personally think it could be potentially to do with time travel. Um, it's something that I read about quite a few years ago, and I've just found a post that actually talks about it. And it's a project called Project Pegasus, which effectively is training children to time travel. Um, yeah, so I'll just read an extract of it here. So, the mission of Project Pegasus was to study the effects of time travel and teleportation on children, as well as to relay important information about past and future events to the US President, intelligence community, and military. According to Basiago, who is one of the guys that were recruited on there, so a child that was recruited specifically for their ability to adapt to the strains of moving between past, present, and future. But how? While Basiago claims there were several time travel devices at work during these experiments, the majority of his temporal adventures can be attributed to our old friend Nikola Tesla. Um, those people that don't know Nikola Tesla, you need to research this guy. This guy should be an absolute hero. He should be on every billboard around the world. Um, the guy's a hero. So this next part is intriguing. So documents allegedly retrieved from Tesla's New York City apartment after his death in January 1943 revealed the schematic for a teleportation machine. Using something Basiago calls radiant energy, the machine would form a shimmering curtain between two elliptical booms. Okay, so basically a portal that will allow you to teleport. Okay, so there was this famous picture here, which was Gettysburg, where apparently, so this Basiago guy looks completely out of place in this picture. That's apparently him in a picture where he was going back to see President Abraham Lincoln. So I'm just going to scroll down here for you to see. Again, if I'm going too fast, just feel free to pause it. So the general gist of why I think it could be potentially time travel, a lot of people are talking about quantum computing, which I do also have something on that I've found today, which is extremely interesting. I think that this Mandela effect maybe has been going on a lot longer than we think it has. I think it was 2013 when they discovered the Mandela effect, when the group of people were talking about it. I think it's been going on a lot longer than that. Bearing in mind, Tesla was around in the 30s, if I remember. And you've got to understand that anything that the military have is going to be minimum sort of 10, 20 years more advanced than what we have now. So we have an iPhone 6S and think that that's the best thing since sliced bread. They're probably on the equivalent of about an iPhone 50 in the state in the military. So just bear that in mind as well when people think that it's far-fetched for time travel and what have you. Now, there are certain programs or films that I would definitely recommend to look into. The first one that comes to my mind is a program called Sliders. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I just wanted to highlight it a bit more in this video. So the program was about a guy who did go to alternate realities, and the only way how he could know his reality is when he had a squeak in his gate. I would definitely even recommend looking at a trailer for it if you've never seen it, just to kind of get up to speed as to what that is. There's also a film called Looper, which was fairly newish a few years back, where the guy was time traveling, kept going back in time, and he would often, if I remember, he sees himself as a younger version, which is what I believe would happen. Now, just imagine with time travel. So they say that you shouldn't touch or change anything, not even move a cup or anything. So, for example, if I was traveling in the past, I ate a banana, I then threw the skin on the floor, and let's say J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books, let's say she was on her way to the cafe where she wrote Harry Potter on the napkins. But then and that was the day that she had the inspiration for the Harry Potter books, but then she slipped on this banana skin that I left there as a time traveller, and then she hits her head and dies, or has a concussion and just can't remember what her inspiration was. Therefore, Harry Potter would never have been made. For example, I'm using Harry Potter as an example because it's a very famous franchise. Therefore, in the present, anything Harry Potter related and anything that would have come with that would now have changed. So, let's say that who's the guy who's the main Harry Potter character? Daniel Radcliffe. He maybe wouldn't be famous, for example, so that would have completely changed his life and everyone around him. It's impossible to know the exact effect of everything that would have changed from that, but just on a global scale, when you see how big Harry Potter is, you can see that that would have changed drastically. And another reason why I don't think that time travel is so far-fetched, I've seen some peculiar videos online, which I'm going to share one example with you now. Full credit to this guy here, Jamie Bantam. I'm just screenshotting this, so I'm not taking any credit for these findings. I'm just trying to piece everything together. But yeah, this is a Mike Tyson fight, 1995.
Plans to go straight ahead, but with elusiveness, something tough tomorrow will stall your greatest asset and become your
Okay, so that's just one example there. There are plenty of other examples. There's ones where there's a hipster-looking guy in like the 60s or somewhere like that, where he looks completely out of place. He's got these cool kind of Ray-Ban-esque glasses on, modern clothing, looks completely out of place in the picture. He could have been the first ever hipster, who knows? Could he be a time traveller? There's been a case that I read about fairly recently, I've mentioned this in a previous video, where a mummy was dug up, as in a mummified Egyptian, and it had Adidas shoes, or seemingly sneakers, trainers with 3 stripes on them. Could be nothing, could be coincidence, but when you add everything up, there was also a case in the Charlie Chaplin film, I believe it was in the outtakes of one of the old 1930s, I believe it was, DVD, where there's a woman that looks very much like she's on a mobile phone. Again, when you just see one of these things, much like the Mandela effect, if you just hear one thing like, oh, maybe life was like a box of chocolates, you don't really think too much about it. It's only once you start really seeing the plethora of evidence out there, and it just outweighs any possibility that it's not real. So that's why I'm leaning towards this time traveller theory that I've thought of. Again, I'm not taking credit for this YouTube video here. The Project Pegasus thing, I haven't actually heard anyone link that with this. Again, if anyone wants to copy this video, please do. I'm not one of those YouTubers that are against people using my material that I find or that I report on. I genuinely want this spread out so that as many people can see this as possible. So if you've got a bigger fan base than me, I'm very new to this YouTube account here. So if you've got 1 million subscribers, please do screenshot everything that I'm doing and upload it to your own one as well. You've got permission for me to do that. So this is another film here. So I'll play the trailer here again. Feel free to fast forward it. But this trailer is of the film The Butterfly Effect, starring Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, it touches on the notion that you shouldn't change anything in history because even the slightest alteration could have dire consequences or different consequences. But just look at the trailer for yourselves and see what you make of it.
Remember when we were kids and I used to have those blackouts? Well, some of those memories have been coming back to me.
There are moments in life we choose to remember.
Do you think that we'll be together forever?
And some memories we can never forget.
All I know is if by reading these journals, I might be able to get Kaylee back.
I'd think twice about what you're doing. You could wake up a lot worse off than you are now. I haven't seen yourselves like this before.
But what if you could go back in time?
You are completely relaxed. Think of it like a movie. You can pause, rewind, or slow down.
Could you save the one person that mattered the most?
Honey, are you alright?
You. Incredible. I lost you once and I'm not losing you again.
I mean, you've never lost me. What are you talking about?
You got a nice life.
You stay away from us.
It's been a while since
What about Kaylee? Is she alright? If I go back to the beginning, I might be able to save her. Just tell me if you see anything weird. Weirder than this. Okay, you were happy once. With me.
Why don't you go back and save me?
How are you doing this? You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
You can't change who people are without destroying who they were.
Every time I try to go back in time and help someone, everything just goes wrong.
Oh my God, what did we do?
You can't play God.
The Butterfly Effect.
So as you can see from that, guys, he's doing this himself through his blackouts that he has. However, I do believe that maybe Tesla was onto something with the machine there. And if you think of how long ago it was, as I say, I think it was the 30s. I might be getting the era wrong on that. But let's just say it was the 30s. That's a lot of time to perfect the technology where people could, let's say, walk through a machine or however it's done. But the reason why I showed the butterfly effect here is just to highlight the fact that even if you change one thing, so it showed his girlfriend there that he had, and you change one thing and she's a sort of crackhead looking person in one lifetime, she's sort of a healthy looking nice person in another lifetime. Who's to say this isn't what's going on with this Mandela effect? I've got another theory coming up as well, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the two of these once it is actually found out. But yeah, add your thoughts onto this Project Pegasus theory and let me know what you think. This is the one that I am leaning more towards it being. This makes the most sense to me, but I am going to be uploading another video that is very, very compelling also. As I say, please, if you want to copy this whole video, if you want to copy segments of it, do what you want with it. I'm giving open permission on there. I just genuinely want to reach that one person that knows that 1% more that could maybe unlock this. If we all come together and think of this in a different way, instead of, oh, this is my material, you shouldn't be using this, I think we'll get to a solution a lot quicker. That's all from me, guys. Comment below and thanks for your time.